Is it time for recess yet? I'm so glad you found time to join us here on the Childcare Director's Chair, where Erica Sacoccio shares her best practices that she's refined through her passion of directing childcare centers over the last 23 years. From parenting interaction, systems to save you time, money, and stress, to profitability. She shares it all from the Childcare Director's Chair.
Are you a director in the early childhood education field thinking about advancing your career? I'd like you to join us today as we have a conversation to explore how Charter Oaks State College programs might be the right step for you. They offer options that are flexible for busy professionals. Trust me, I know. Charter Oak is a perfect fit for those who are looking to deepen their expertise while continuing to lead. Plus, they are also a proud sponsor of the Early Childhood Empowerment Conference. Charter Oak is committed to empowering educators just like you. Today, we are joined with one of my favorite professors, Professor Maureen Hogan from Charter Oak. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're super happy to have you here. So let's talk a little bit about Charter Oak. Can you just tell folks a little bit about what you think makes your school different, special, unique?
Sure. Well, I actually want to start with the history of Charter Oak State,
Yeah.
which I did not know actually when I started to work at the college. But Charter Oak State College was actually a woman's. It wasn't even a college actually when it first started. But over 50 years ago, what happened was that we used to have these correspondence courses for women who were not working at the time. This was a long time ago. And what women would do would be to send in and request for course materials that would arrive by U.S. postal mail. The mail would then arrive. They would complete the course requirements and send the course back for grading. And Charter Oak State College became a place in Connecticut where women would send in these courses and they would actually provide the credits if they passed the course. And from there, we evolved to being an online institution. So we've been around now for about 50 years. And so what makes us special, I think, is number one, we have a history of alternative types of online learning for adults. And I think that the options that we provide for adults are flexible and work for their busy schedules.
I fully agree there, which made it very, I'm not going to use the word easy, made it doable. It wasn't easy because I juggled a lot of classes at once and everybody's going to move at their own pace. But I did find that there was quite a bit of flexibility in terms of the time. You do have to be dedicated though, and you have to have a plan for sure to get your coursework done.
Sure. At Charter Oak State College, as you know, Erica, and being an alum of the college, you do have weekly work to do, but you have from Sunday until the following week on Sunday at midnight to schedule yourself to actually complete your assignments. And so what I always recommend to students is get in the course on Sunday or Monday, see what's due for a week and for the week, and then schedule yourself to actually complete the work, at different times when it works for you. And so you don't have to choose between going to a child's soccer game or, doing something else for your family that might be important. You have the whole week to complete the work.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about leadership for a second, because I love leadership. We talk about leadership on the show a lot. Talk a little bit about how Charter Oak prepares directors for leadership roles within early childhood education.
That's really a great question. We actually have the undergraduate degree in early childhood education. So it's a 4-year degree. And in this degree, we have 2 concentrations. One is for those who want to continue to teach in the field, but the other concentration we have is program administration and leadership. And what many people do not realize about this concentration is that it prepares administrators to be NAEYC qualified in terms of the operational and the pedagogical requirements. So it's a really, really good concentration for any program director who does not already have a bachelor's degree, who wants to become qualified through NAEYC. At the master's degree level, we are starting a new program. It's the Master of Science in Curriculum and Instruction. And in this program, what we're going to be doing is training our students to to be able to write curriculum, to be able to know how to facilitate and use adult learning principles as strategies. And so we're going to actually, the coursework in that program is it's for somebody who really wants to learn how to design curriculum and instruction, design professional development learning experiences. So those are just a few of the ways that we help leaders to grow in the field.
Hey, it's Erica here, and I've got something super exciting to share with you. If you're in the world of early childhood education, you cannot miss the Early Childhood Empowerment Conference. And I'm not just saying that. Trust me, this is where the magic happens. Over the course of 3 days, we're all about learning, connecting, and reigniting that spark that brought you into the field in the first place. And let me tell you, this conference is packed with goodness. Day one is all about leadership. We've got 5 incredible presenters who will walk you through the business side of running your program. Plus, it's more intimate, a retreat-style day with only 80 administrators, so you'll get tons of face time and an opportunity to connect. And to close out the day, a fun, hilarious comedy show and dinner with Jay Yoder from the Board Teacher Comedy Tour. He graces the stages all over the country. Day 2 is a day full-blown conference with 50 vendors, 14 amazing speakers, plus 2, not 1, but 2 keynote addresses that will leave your head full of fresh ideas. Oh, and did I mention, you can also get a free professional headshot. You can even hop on an ECE podcast and share your expertise with the world. So much fun packed into one day. And then day 3, you get to relax. We're heading over to Urban Sweat, where you can treat yourself however you want. Whether you want to unwind in a Himalayan salt cave, you want to get into a yoga class, or just enjoy a relaxing massage, you will leave totally recharged. You can book your services directly with Rafa and pick exactly what you need. So are you in? Don't miss out 3 days of empowerment, inspiration, and just pure connection with your ECE community. I can't wait to see you there. So let's do this. Links below. See you soon. I think the other thing I always like to put in people's ear is it is great to have all of the teacher coursework that you need to have, but I really always tell my teachers to always look forward. And so that's why I really recommended the leadership program at Charter Oak, because I think that a lot of teachers feel like they get stuck, and I don't want people to feel like they get stuck. And of course, being a teacher is a great place to be, but they feel like they can't do things outside of the classroom. And I really like to prepare my staff to be able to be multifaceted, because, education changes so quick, to be able to have some other skill sets in the classroom, but also outside the classroom, or at least have a better understanding. Good schools work with their team, and their team has a voice at the table. And so for them to really have a good understanding of what it means to run a center,
Sure.
I think it
goes both ways, because sometimes directors do not have experience in early childhood pedagogy. So how are they supervising teachers to ensure that the curriculum is adequate and based on what we know is research-based and developmentally appropriate for young children? So directors need to learn as much about the teaching portion of their work as well. But at the same time, teachers, like you said, need to be able to think forward. And so thinking to where you might want to be in 5 years might lead you to want to take some leadership courses. And as you know, Erica, we offer administration and supervision in early childhood programs. We have a leadership course in early childhood. We have a personnel course. And we have a few others, such as finance, and another one on working with families. And these 5 courses actually fall into 5 competency areas for directors that are really used around the country. So it's not like it's just us offering those core competencies for directors. Other states are as well, but we do it online, and we do it in the Northeast states mostly.
Yeah. In a lot of states have different qualifications and different roles. And so here in Rhode Island, you can be a director and also be the ed coordinator if you meet those requirements. But a lot of places will have like a director and then have an ed coordinator. And the ed coordinator usually is the one that oversees the curriculum. But the director is the one who usually will do the uh, you know, um, review of the ed coordinator. So if you don't really have the education piece to back it up, like you said, how are you going to evaluate if that education coordinator is doing a good job if you don't have the pedagogy piece too?
Right, right. And you make a really good point that sometimes the directors may not be directly responsible for the day-to-day curriculum. There's an ed coordinator that might be there to do that, but still the director needs to hold the ed coordinator accountable, right? And the coordinator needs to hold the teachers accountable. So it's really, really important for directors to have some knowledge of that pedagogy.
Yeah. What is out of all the programs that you offer and all the classes that you teach, what ones are your favorite and why?
Best, okay. Programs, I think my favorite, I don't know that I have a favorite program. I will say that I have a particular interest in anti-bias education. Social equity and justice is important. So we do have a course that's titled Diversity and Ethics in Early Childhood Education. So that I would say would be one of my favorite courses. I also feel very called to working with students in urban communities or to even teachers in urban communities. But in my past, I did work with children in urban communities. So now when I think about my interest, I still carry that with me to this day, wanting to support those that do work in more marginalized communities and making sure that there's equity in teaching and learning practices.
Yeah, I think that that's a conversation that's happening in schools, throughout the country for sure. Um, what what would you say to somebody who really wants to go back to school but is nervous? Like, what is your best advice? Because I know sometimes that is something that holds folks back.
Well, change is hard. Take the leap. Take the leap. So I can say at Charter Oak State College, we offer something called a 4-credit option for CDA. So somebody who maybe wants to try online education, but they're not really sure that they want to commit to a degree program. Sometimes taking that baby step is helpful. So enroll in a CDA program and do 9 credits. If you don't like it, then worst case scenario, you get your CDA. But that's still a good scenario, right? It's still a huge accomplishment for somebody to earn the CDA. We provide a lot of coaching at that level to make sure that our students feel supported. So I would say just take the leap. It's hard, and it doesn't have to be at Charter Oak State College. It can be anywhere. Just take the leap. Reach out to people who can be coaches or mentors to you, and can just support you while you're going through the process. Because learning how to acclimate to online courses can be challenging. They're accelerated. You just have to shift gears a little bit in your day-to-day life to be able to fit in all the requirements for online learning. But with the help and support of family and friends and coworkers, I think anyone can do it. I'll often say to students that it's important to get your family on board with what you're doing. So, just as much as you would want to support your children with something that they may want to accomplish, and you're going to be there as a cheerleader for them, sometimes we need our children to be that, not just our children, it could be our parents, it could be our significant others, but having the support from others is so important. And here's an example. With online education, I suggest to students that they actually schedule their time to go to school. So you can log on whenever you want to, whenever it's convenient for you. But our most successful students will be those that can say to maybe parents or to their significant other, listen, every Wednesday night, I'm going to block off this time for me to go to school. And so can we agree that this will be time when you'll be with the kids? And so if you have a partner that can help with that, great. Now you know that you're using support. So when somebody takes on a new credential, training program or a degree program, it's so important to have the support of those that they care about and love them as well. So
I think that is great advice. I was just talking with one of my directors who just recently went back to school through part of the Teach program, and she was a little nervous about how she was going to fit it all in. And then she also has a fairly young child. I mean, she's like 14, so not super young, but still needs her attention. And I talked about scheduling time in the morning, waking up a few hours earlier. I found that was one of the keys to my success because at the end of the workday, sometimes you're a little tired, you're not as alert. And you want to spend that time with your family. So that was one of my little tricks that helped me get through was I would wake up like 2.5 hours earlier, enjoy some breakfast, have a cup of tea, and then I didn't really lose out on family time and I was much more alert and wasn't exhausted. So just go to bed earlier, guys. It really does make a difference.
it does.
Yeah, it does. It does. And then you'll be excited about, your day, right? You feel
Right.
accomplished and people are just waking up and you're like, all right, I already got this done. So,
Yeah.
so talk to us a little bit about the master's program that you have, coming up. And what's that look like? When is that starting?
So our Master of Science in Curriculum and Instruction starts in the fall. We start to accept applications in April of this year. We're so excited about it, Erica. We have 8 core courses that everyone will take, but then we will have specific courses geared towards different sectors of the education industry. So, for instance, we're going to have 5 or 6 electives in early childhood, some that we're really, really excited about, like social emotional development for young children. That's a really important one for us. STEAM for, working with young children. We're just learning to bring the arts into our curriculum for young children. A few leadership courses as well in terms of curriculum. So we'll have the early childhood piece, but then we also have courses in special education as well as even elementary education. So we're trying to broaden our range and think more of early childhood from birth through age 8 instead of birth to 5. And sometimes what happens at 4-year colleges, we tend to think of the birth to 5 population, but even once they go to kindergarten, they're still in early childhood. We're really wanting to just spread our wings a little bit and move into those early elementary years as well.
I could literally cry just hearing that. So I'm originally a school age girl. That's where I started. And I
Okay.
can't tell you how hard it is to find courses that crossed over. And the other thing is when I talk about early childhood education, so often I have to say, that includes school age children. Like even when we had our quality ratings came into our state, it was first the money only was for infant toddler pre-K programs. And I kept going, wait, so once that same child graduates in June and comes to my summer camp program, they no longer need quality? And of course the answer is yes. And, several years later they have moved it to include school age, but yeah, it's often left out of the conversation. So I love that you guys considered that. I already loved you guys. I didn't think it was possible to love you more, but I possibly could just love you more now. So, and I think that's great. And a lot of the folks that are coming to the Early Childhood Empowerment Conference this May are school age folks. So I'm going to love that. Make sure that you somehow are letting folks know that this would be acceptable program for them as well. And I know they're going to appreciate that.
And that's really good to know, Erica, because when I started in my current role, we had some school age care courses that were scheduled consistently, and they did not have a high enrollment at all. And that was for the reason that you just mentioned, that school age providers often do not get, or counselors often do not get the same scholarship opportunities to be able to earn college credits. And we are actually just bringing those courses back this upcoming fall. So we are excited about that. And I will make sure that when we are at the conference in May, we bring information on that.
Yeah. So here's one of the this is a childcare owner tip and trick. If you want really great school age folks, you have to find ways to give them hours beyond 3 to 5 for most of them to be
Sure.
able to make a living, right? So
Yeah.
what we did was we put together schedules where the school age folks would come into our early learning programs, and
Mhm.
they would be, instead of like, I want to say like floats, but they would come and cover teacher prep time.
Mhm.
They would come and cover teachers' lunches. So that would
Sure.
allow us to give full time to our school age people, and then
I love it.
also allow our teachers to get time out of the classroom. So we're one unit, one school, and then everybody had the same opportunities in terms of hours and benefits and schooling and all the things that really matter to keep good educators with your program. So I find like that was probably one of the harder things that school age programs deal with, is it's hard to keep good teachers with anywhere, but then to keep them at 20 to 15, 15, 20 hours is extremely difficult.
Sure.
So, get real creative, and you can really have high level teachers to create high level programs.
I've had similar experiences in when I was a program director. Same thing. I remember working for programs, and they would say, "Well, your before and after school staff need to go home at 9:30 after the children go to school." And I'd say, "Well, why? I
Hmm.
can use them in these other programs for the reasons that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
We do need support staff to be with those infants, toddlers, preschoolers, and as long as they are, they have some experience and training behind them, they can support us in those roles." So I agree with you.
Yeah. I will say, as a director, one of the reasons that I really loved Shadow Oak was the flexibility. I also found that tuition, for those of us who didn't have access to grants and teach and all of that, I found the tuition to be pretty affordable in terms of colleges. I would say that it was pretty gentle there. And I love just the network of people.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned earlier about network with the people in your classes, not just for class sake, but build yourself some people you can count on to talk with after you graduate.
Yeah.
Have those connections. So I really loved that, that part of an online class. Like, maybe you're not in class together, but you do make really good connections if you're, if you want to. And I think
So,
that it's a good thing.
Erica, that's something I'd really like to speak on
Yeah.
because, as we know in our field, relationships are at the heart of everything we do. And so often over the years, I've been told, well, you can't form relationships with students online. You and I can say that. Absolutely true. I
Yeah.
know you, you know me. We've even met each other at conferences. But even if we have not met each other at conferences, I feel that I do get to know the students at Charter Oak State College. And not just me, but the other faculty feel that way as well. I think one of the things we have done over the past years is we really focused on collaborations with program directors. And I'm telling you, Erica, this is just my dream come true. So here's what's happening. We have a collaborative agreement. We are forming these relationships with directors, and we're sitting with them and we're saying to them, what can we do to support you? And they will talk to us about the professional development of their teachers. It may be in the form of teachers needing a CDA credential, or maybe teachers are just fearful of returning to school. They don't know how to take that leap. We'll go in and do a workshop for them and just have conversations with their staff. We want to know what their needs are as program directors, because we feel that when we know the needs of the program directors, then we can tailor what we're doing at the college to support the industry need that they have in terms of not just recruiting, but retaining qualified staff. And through these partnerships that we've developed with directors, I have to say that our enrollment has just grown leaps and bounds. We'll have sometimes 4 or 5 students from one program that are enrolled in our program. And what's really neat is that they can go to each other during children's nap time and say, listen, I'm doing that assignment in English 101. how are you approaching it? What are you doing with it? Or, if they don't understand something, they collaborate with each other. And it's really, really nice when the programs will have a few students with us and we know the director, because then now, again, it all goes back to that one word I mentioned a few minutes ago. It's all about relationships, and we support each other and building these relationships. And it's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. There are definitely a lot of great relationships, and I can't wait to bounce my way right back into class this fall when you open up this master's program. I will say that I feel that the skills and the knowledge that I gained during my program time with you have directly influenced my leadership style, and I feel extremely lucky to have almost graduated right before COVID hit. So I was able to graduate in person, but also able to, I don't want to use the word pivot because I feel like that word has been used a lot since COVID-19, but I really I was able to really navigate. That's probably the better word, navigate all the changes and challenges that happened in the last 4.5 years, with multiple locations, multiple, staff. I feel like a lot of what I learned, I was able to put into practice pretty quickly. So I do appreciate that.
Great. That's wonderful. Yeah, we even have it as part of our conceptual framework. We have in there that we really want to focus on technology with our students because, as you know, with COVID, you already had skills with technology, right? And I'm not saying you achieved all those skills through Charter Oak State College, but learning to learn online is doable. Like, you do that when you're at Charter Oak State College. You learn how to put together presentations. You learn how to use Zoom or to get on a Teams meeting. You learn these things. And even since you graduated, we've done so much to build upon the tech skills of our students because teachers need it and teachers deserve it. They deserve to have as much skill in technology as anybody working in any other field.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned the technology.
Yeah. I actually just came back from PodFest, which is a creator conference, and I learned so much about AI and the ways to use AI in my center, in my work, in my podcast, on my YouTube. But yeah, there's so much integration going on right now. I think it's pretty cool and exciting, even as a 54-year-old who sometimes gets a little nervous. We have a joke around my house about the remote control, but we'll leave that for another day. Is there anything that you really wanted to share that I didn't ask you as we start to wrap up?
No, it's really a pleasure to be here. And I guess what I would want to share, Erica, is that I'm so proud of you.
Oh.
But, what we often say in our fields is not so much that we tell people that we're proud of them, but really you should be proud of yourself because it was you that did the work when you were with us at Charter Oak. And to see you moving on to having written a book, to having developed these podcasts, to the conference that you're doing in May. I think it's early May.
Yeah.
We're so excited for you to just know that we have an alum that's doing this. And so congratulations to you on all that you're doing and developing yourself as a professional leader in this field, because as you know, we need more leaders like you.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that confidence and support. Yeah, thank you. So for those of you who are watching, if you would like to learn more about Charter Oak, we're going to put the link below in the comment section. Also, if you're interested in coming out to the Early Childhood Empowerment Conference this May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, we'll also leave the link below. You have to come. We're going to have everything from leadership trainings, director training, teacher training, school age tracks. We've got 15 amazing speakers on Saturday and 7 on Friday. And I just can't wait to connect with all of my listeners. So I'm very, very excited about that. So as always, it's the small details that make a big impact on the success of your childcare business. That's all for today. Bye.
Well, all the cute little kiddos have been picked up and it's time to go home. And that'll do it for another episode of the Childcare Director's Chair. Please leave a review so Erica knows the information is helping you to manage and improve your childcare centers. Remember to subscribe to get the latest episode from Erica's Childcare Director's Chair.